Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again. And we're watching another Casual Geographic. I just saw his last new one, Nope, and I thought I'd just make a new one. And this one is most dangerous animals on each continent. And oh boy, isn't this one going to be an interesting one? I haven't seen it yet, and I'm kind of really curious. I'm really curious because I've seen some of, I believe, the giant petrel, and oh no, I'm like, oh no, yeah, because I know pretty nasty things. They like eat the, let's say, softest parts of dead bodies. Yes, they'll go in butt first.
That's disgusting.
I bet you was gonna mention it too. But man, I want to see what else what he says about others, because let's see what he says the most dangerous. Oh, if he says the most dangerous animal in Australia is the box jellyfish, he's legit, because that's a lot of things people don't know about. Like, as many scary things as there are on on Australia itself, the most the worst way you could die is probably in the water. I mean, in addition to the damn sharks that are in the water all the time. Great whites love to hang out there, as you know from watching Shark Week, I'm sure. But let's not discuss any further. Let's just get into the episode. And remember, please like and subscribe if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content. And let's do this thing.
And DM me
Black
ideas.
Mamba?
At number 5, what would happen if you gave a Honda Civic a horn and personality disorder? You'd get the Black Rhinoceros, a 3,000 pound vibe check. The reason they're so dangerous is because they're basically blind, so they charge at anything that moves.
Very true.
Number 4 are hyenas, because they have jaws that can amputate a rhino and they can chase you down for miles. They have a merc rate of 74%, so if they come after you, your life movie just hit the credits. And they can run in clans with 80 members. Number 3 is the bull elephant, because when they enter a state called Musk, they gain a personality of an over-aggressive frat boy and a 15,000 pound body, with 2 life-canceling tusks. And there is not a more destructive force than an angry elephant thinking with his 5th leg. Number 2 are mosquitoes, because they take 1 million names off the census every year. When she drinks your blood, she can transmit malaria, which reduces your blood's ability to carry oxygen. Number 1 ain't even a debate. Most animals won't give you problems if you respect their space. Hippos massacre people unprovoked. They can't do math, but they have a bite that can divide you or a crocodile in half. At least 500 obituaries get written a year because a hippo had a temper tantrum. They've been known to swallow people whole, and they don't need Red Bull to give you wings. Top 5 most dangerous animals in South America. At number 5, we have the giant river otter, because these furry gangbangers will jump caimans and tear their guts out. They can grow to 6 feet long, and they've been known to attack and torture anacondas. Number 4 is the bullet ant, because its sting is one of the most painful things you can live through, and if a whole nest presses you, anacondas. Number 4 is the tear their guts out. They can grow to 6 feet long, and they've been known to attack and torture anacondas.
Really?
Number 4 is the bullet ant, because its sting is one of the most painful things you can live through, and if a whole nest presses you, you're gonna wish you had a bullet to put you out of your misery.
Oh no.
Coming in at 3 is the Brazilian watering spider. The only thing worse than its venomous bite is the agonizing 4-hour erection that follows, along with rapid heart rate, paralysis, and your soul filing for unemployment.
Wait a minute. Oh wait, I've heard of that. Yeah. It gives you priapism. That's crazy.
At number 2 is the biggest snake in the world that isn't your ex, the green anaconda. At 17 feet, 550 pounds, this snake is really just one big muscle. They're strong enough to choke the life out of almost anything, and like any truly toxic relationship, once it gets a hold of you, it really is till death do you part. Number 1 is a jaguar for many reasons. These all-stars can run, jump, swim, climb, do all the things you'd expect from a cat while weighing 250 pounds. Unlike other cats, they end lives with a bite to the head, skull punching it with their teeth and piercing the brain. Pound for pound, they have a more devastating bite than a lion or tiger, and they can crack open a turtle. He's the landlord of the jungle, God help you if he collects rent. 5 most dangerous animals in North America. Number 5 are mountain lions, because everything about them is designed to kill you. At 200 pounds, they can outrun, outjump, outclimb, and probably outdrink you, and if this roid kitty wasn't already afraid of people, they would stat pat us disrespectfully. Number 4 is the American bison, because at over 2,000 pounds with a top speed of 40 miles per hour, health insurance goes up every time he loses his temper. I mentioned they can jump over fences. Every year people try taking selfies with it and nearly get turned into chalk outlines. Number 3 is the polar bear for 2 reasons. They're the largest land predator on Earth, and as payback for global warming, they might be the only animal that actively hunts humans. They'll do you just like they do seals in the name of equality. Number 2, and no, I'm not kidding, the deer. Bambi will cause 1 million car accidents a year, which will end 200 lives. You're more likely to sit in a funeral caused by an unaware deer than a homicidal bear. Every time you step in a car, this antler jockey decides if you're going to come home in one piece or in a box. And number 1 is the biggest deer of all, the moose. Because the fastest way for God to bring one of his children home is to put a moose in front of his car. Unlike bears and cougars, these car cripplers are not afraid of you, they will river dance on your body. If you ever wanted to be famous, piss off a moose and you will get your own hashtag. Top 5 most dangerous animals.
Don't you love that in North America and Africa, the most dangerous animal is a herbivore? Ugh.
In Antarctica. First, we got the giant petrel, an aggressive refrigerated
there it
Tweety
is.
with a 7-foot wingspan. They won't kill you, but this ice vulture will projectile vomit at anyone that gets too close and is acidic enough to blind you. At number 4, we got the 46-foot 11.
Also, do you mention why their faces are always so bloody?
100-pound colossal squid. With 10 arms, a razor-sharp beak, and
Antarctica?
claws that could easily violate any human. At number 3 is the 8,000-pound blubber bully that is the southern elephant seal. Built like a truck with the personality of a spring break frat boy, they only care about food and sex. Anything else can get flattened if it's in their way. At number 2, we have one of the most feared predators in Antarctica, the leopard seal. At 11 feet, 700 pounds, this murder puppy actually has a body count. One attacked and dragged a researcher to her death. They've been known to end lives for fun. The definition of irony is that the most dangerous animal on this list has never killed a human in the wild, even though they have the strength to shot put seals and vibe check sharks. They often hunt in groups called pods, and their hunting style is basically like wolves of the water. As apex predators, that means there's literally nothing on this planet that can check them. And even though they've never caused an obituary outside of SeaWorld, there's no denying a 32-foot homicidal murder dolphin could easily be a one-man Titanic if it ever chose to strike. Top 5 most dangerous animals in Europe. First, we got the Portuguese man-of-war, which isn't a jellyfish, it's a siphonophore. It has venom that can trigger an allergic reaction that blocks your airways and stops your heart. At number 4, blocks your airways and stops your heart. At number 4, we got the Eurasian brown bear. It's at 8 feet, 1,000 pounds. They can turn any man into a meat rag doll. Attacks are rare, but one did eat a child last year, so yeah. Also, if he high-fives your back, you will be a paraplegic. At number 3, you got the Vipera beerus, the European adder. They only bite when provoked, but their venom can cause blood blisters and can trigger extreme allergic reactions that can take a year to recover from, if you recover at all. In Sweden, there's about 1,300 recorded bites a year. Their name is adder, but they'll subtract you from the population expeditiously. Number 2, we have the wild boar, and it's all because of the way they attack. They'll charge you and gore you with those teeth and then take a step back, and if you're still moving, they'll Ray Rice you again. They'll keep doing this until they're sure you're dead. And somehow Messiah finds himself at number 1 again. They say on the road you should never swerve to avoid hitting an animal because 99% of the time you'll end up in a worse position. That 1% is when this antler tank is in front of you, because if you hit its legs, its 1,700-pound body will go through your windshield and no car insurance can bring you back to life. The most dangerous animals in Asia. At number 5, we have the 1,200-pound water buffalo. They've been domesticated and they're actually really friendly 95% of the time. It's just that 5% where this 4-legged tractor puts someone in a newspaper. At number 4 is the mugger crocodile, because once it slams those snare trap jaws on you, you have a choice to either negotiate your arm or get death rolled into oblivion. Number 3 is a soft-scaled viper, because it has the highest body count of any Asian snake. Its venom is 5 times worse than a cobra's, and it breaks down the membranes of your blood vessels, causing you to bleed from everywhere, including your brain. My advice if you get bit is to forgive your enemies and make peace with the higher being of your choice, because you're about to get airdropped to them. At number 2, I'm respectfully putting the sloth bear, because it has claws, jaws, and the personality of a chainsaw. At 400 pounds of malicious intent, its attack style includes disfiguring the victim's face and turning limbs into a bloody pulp. Number 1 is easily the 11-foot, 700-pound striped delete button we call tigers. They're strong enough to murk guards, drag cows over a mile, and they can even lift an adult cow over a 7-foot wall. But the worst part is they're the most vengeful animals on the planet. You do them dirty once, and like a 4-legged John Wick, they will find you, and what happens next will be 100% premeditated. You're the deadliest animals in Australia. Part 1. You know, it says a lot when a 17-foot, 2,200-pound massacre is number 5. It has the strongest bite force on a planet, and its death roll guarantees that your casket will be
animals
closed.
live on there.
At number 4 is the eastern brown snake, because they're responsible for 60% of snake bites in Australia, and one bite can cause paralysis, uncontrollable bleeding, and one less person on next year's census. Not to mention half of these deaths happen at home. The funnel web is respectfully number 3 because its name isn't Zoe, but most of its victims are children who can become hashtags in as little as 15 minutes. Those fangs can penetrate your fingernails, and the venom attacks the nervous system, causing a drop in blood pressure, organ failure, and a non-negotiable soul eviction. This tiny octopus is number 2 because not only can it erase 26 people with one bite, you wouldn't even feel the bite itself. You would just have trouble breathing and moving, and by the time you realize what was happening, you would be too paralyzed to call for help. Number 1 is the box jellyfish, because this is exactly what happens when you get too close. The venom attacks the heart and is so painful that you can go into shock and drown before you even reach the shore. Because they have 4,000 million stinging cells that could cook you faster than ramen. 5 deadly Australian animals, part 2. Kangaroos are responsible for 90% of animal-related car accidents, making them the deer of down under. Difference is, deer aren't built like somebody that'll put you in the ER and make love to your wife after. Number 4 is the most lethal thing with feathers, the cassowary. Because those daggers can tear flesh, open arteries, and slice your intestines out with one maliciously placed kick. If they weren't shy, it would get bad. Magpies are anything but shy, and these flying black Air Forces will attack people in assaults like a blind the victim. And since they can remember your face for 5 years, beefing with an angry bird is signing a max contract with abuse. At number 2 is the most venomous fish on the planet and master rock impersonator, the stonefish. Accidentally step on them and they'll shoot venomous spines through your skin, which can flatline you in 2 hours. Symptoms include extreme pain, respiratory weakness, paralysis, and an obituary. Number 1 is the Irukandji jellyfish. Not because they can revoke your birth certificate in 2 minutes, but because they're so small you would never see it coming. One of the symptoms of getting stung is an impending feeling of doom, which causes some patients to beg the doctors to end them just to get it over with. Most stings aren't fatal, but I would still deep throat a cactus before I go swimming in the ocean. These are 5 of the worst ways to die in Africa. If If you eat the ackee fruit before it's ripe, you can develop Jamaican sickness where you vomit uncontrollably, have seizures, and go into a coma that you might not wake up from.
Wow.
If Cape Buffalo want you off the census, a group of about 50 will stalk and circle you, and when you're not looking, one will charge and gore you from behind. And they'll wait till you get up just to ray rice you again, which is why they're called Black Death. During droughts, colonies of millions of safari ants will swarm and attack anything in their way. A woman was gardening when she got swarmed by the thousands, and by the time her husband found her a few minutes later, she was already finished. She went into anaphylactic shock where her throat swelled up, basically suffocating her.
Yeah, you know, one time I actually heard of a whole bunch of ants like killing a little child while he slept. Yeah, you can die by ants just by sleeping somewhere in Africa. It's
have been known to swallow people during maulings. The worst part is the only way out involves paying a toll at the 20-inch tusk they call teeth. One man got attacked so severely that his arm was a bloody pulp and his chest got ripped to the point you could see his lungs. Hyenas and wild dogs are the worst death sentence to have because unlike other predators, they don't kill their prey before they eat it. So they'll tear it apart when it's too weak to fight back. Wild dogs go for the guts first. It will disembowel you, tear your insides out while you wait for your life subscription to get canceled.
I told you guys. You see, guys? I called it. I absolutely called it. Not only did I call the box jellyfish thing, but I also called I told you I don't think I mentioned it here. I think I mentioned it in the last video. Go see the last video if you want to see. But I mentioned that the worst way to die is to get ripped apart by African wild dogs. And he described it. And, yeah, that's what he said. He said that worst way to die was by bear. No. It's getting ripped apart by dogs and then eating you. But in a really quick way, and I imagine it would still seem as painful as hell. But yeah, I gotta admit, this video actually taught me a lot right here. That's why I love his videos. Like, I have to admit, as much of an animal expert as I am, I mean, I've even gotten something wrong in the last video, but whatever. I'm so glad that this guy can actually teach me more. Yeah, and we were just talking about the most dangerous animals on each continent. Like, it's crazy, isn't it? Like, I'm surprised he didn't mention Black Mamba, but then again, I think it was going by like how many people it's killed, even though it's probably the most venomous snake in the world. People don't usually get bitten by it. It's weird. But anyway, please like and subscribe if you want to see more sexy yet nerdy content. And I'll see you on the next video.